Hi everyone, this is just a quick reminder of the process that you need to follow in order to create your website using Dreamweaver. So for those of you who have forgotten, have a watch, follow along, and if you've got any questions, just email me. So anyway, once you're in Dreamweaver, you're just going to need to manage your sites, and if you don't already have one, go ahead and create one. I'm just going to call mine demonstration site, and obviously you'll have your local site folder set up. Now, because we're going to be using a database and using PHP code, when we test this, we're going to need to test it on a remote server. So go to the servers category there on the left and go ahead and add a new server. So what we do there is just click on the plus sign, and the server name, it doesn't matter what you call it, I'm just going to call mine demo site. The Ftp address is just going to be the address of your website. So for most of you, it's going to be your surname and your first initial. So followed by .stack.net.nz. The username, again, typically is your surname and your first initial, although I think there's an 8-character limit there. So for those of you with longer surnames, you may find that it gets truncated and cut off at 8 characters. Password is whatever you set the password up as originally. If you haven't changed it, you'll know the default one. If you can't remember it, email me and I'll reset it for you. So anyway, enter that stuff there and just press test just to double check, and all going well, it should connect successfully. If it doesn't, possibly because you've forgotten your password, then just go ahead and email me and I'll sort that out for you. Set the root directory as www, and then when you tab down to the next line, you'll just have to remove that folder from the end there. So that's the settings you should have in here. Next, just go up to the top there and click on Advanced, and we're just going to change the server model down the bottom there to PHP MySQL. Okay, once you've done that, just save it, and you'll notice the server details come up and it just says remote. We're just going to use this for testing as well, so just check both of them. Once you've done that, you may save it. Now, you might want to, if you're working, say, on the school computers, you may want to export your site. I'm not going to because I'm working on my laptop, but again, it's not a bad idea, because if you export it now, you will not have to go through this whole setup thing next time. Regardless, just click on Done, and hopefully you'll have some files there. Now, I've got an HTML page here, so I'll just go ahead and open that in design view. So there's a lovely looking website. This is really how you should, I guess, go ahead and perfect your layout using CSS. So I just save it as page.html. This is kind of almost a meaningless page in the scheme of things. It's just to get the CSS working. I get the layout there. Everything that's going to be in my template, in other words, it's going to appear on every page on the website, will go in here. So I've set mine up with a banner and 2 columns and a background color. Nothing too exciting. So once you've got that perfected, you could go ahead and save it as a template, but for most of you, you're going to be using PHP to connect to a database on some, if not all, of your pages. So we need to put that PHP database connection code into your template. So before we save this as a template, we're going to do that connection string. Now, you could do it in code on this page, but what I'm going to do instead is include it in a separate file. So go ahead, go to the file menu and just click on New, and what we want is a blank PHP page. So click on Create, and in the code, just remove all the code there, like so, and go ahead and put in the connection string code. Now, you should have this from the project you did earlier in the year. If you've lost it, this is what the code looks like. I've just put in, that's where your username will go, which is likely to be your surname first initial, but you will want to check that with the project you did earlier in the year. Again, there's your password, and down here there is the name of the database. So this is going to be in its own little PHP file. So we're just going to save this one as, and I'm just going to save this as dbconnect .php. So data is short for database connect. So every page in our template, or sorry, in our website, is going to be using this connection string. So the advantage of doing this in a standalone file like we are is that if you decide that you want to publish your website and you want to move it from our testing server to a live server, the only setting you're going to need to change is this code here. You won't have to change the connection string on every single page on your website. So go ahead and save that. So obviously this is sitting by itself right now, so we need to go back into our page.html page, and we're now going to turn this into a PHP web page, and we're going to connect it to that database connection string. So just go File, Save As, and just change the suffix there from .html to .php, and save that. So nothing will change, it looks identical. But now go into the code view, and right at the very top, just add a line there, and we're going to put a little bit of code that includes the database connection string. Now, oops, where am I going here? What that looks like is here. Now I'll just remove the thing. I just copied that from somewhere else. So what this is going to do, this is going to include this file, and what that means practically is it's going to get all the code from that file and place it right here on this page. So it's going to go and get this code here and include it right there where line 2 currently is. Now this may seem like a strange way to do it, but as I said earlier, this means that you can reuse the code over and over across a whole bunch of different web pages, but you only have to change it once in one place, and it can update the entire website and put it at a different database. So anyway, save page.php, and it's probably a good idea just to test it. Now what you're best to do is upload both page.php and dbconnect. So put those, that's that little up arrow there. Now that will upload them, and it should upload with no problem. So now when we come into our page and test it, which is F12, and when it uploads eventually, there we go. Now see how it's running with no errors? It's running exactly as it would have done when you're testing it as an HTML page. The difference now is this page is actually talking to or connecting to our database, which means we can successfully use this code in our template. So go back to Dreamweaver, and the last step now really is to go to File menu, and notice again, sorry, before I do that, I'm in page.php. Go File and choose Save as Template. I'm just going to call it Template, and press Save. Yes, you do want to update links. And now you notice at the top here it's now called template.dwt.php. Means it's a PHP Dreamweaver template. So basically you've now got something ready to create all the pages in your site. So you would work something like this. You'd go File, New, choose Page from Template, and there's my template there. Hit Create, and an identical copy comes up. And I would just go ahead and save that as, I don't know, it's going to be my home page, so I'll save it as index.php. There we go. Now you'll notice as well, like with my cursor, there's nowhere that I can update any content, which is a bit of an issue. So back in my template, I forgot to do that, just wherever you're going to have content that will change from page to page throughout your website, which in my case will be this main content area, I need to put in what's called an editable region. So go to the Insert menu, find template in here somewhere, wherever it is, template objects, and editable region. I'm just going to call this one main content, and OK. And it looks different in your template, but it will not. This will not appear anywhere on your actual page. So now when I save this, it will update the index page, which is great. And there on index page now, you notice I can now change that content. And so on. Okay. So there's my index page. I can go ahead now and create a second page. Again, File, New, Page from Template, template, create, and I might save this one as about.php. And obviously I can't do the links here in my about page. And notice how the cursor gets blocked out. If you want to do the links, go back to the template page. There it is there. Select what you want the link to be, so home, and link it to your home page. And obviously down here in the properties, you've got the link field. Just click on browse for file. I want to go to index.php. I want the about button, so if I click on about, down here under link, browse for file, about. So there's my nav bar, obviously completely unformatted. So now when I save my template and I update my 2 pages on my website, you'll notice they now have links. So I can save those. So I'll go save all. I have 2 pages now which I could upload and test. So if I go to my file manager here, about and index, put them, in other words, up onto there. Done. And I'll test my index page. There it is there. If I click on about, you notice in the URL there it's gone to about.php. Back to home, index. So there we have a website that appears to be working. So that's the basic process. So just to recap, you need to create your first HTML page. There it is at the top, page.html. Really work on perfecting the CSS. Make sure that the layout works on a range of browsers. Everything's behaving as it should. Once you're happy with that, go ahead and do your connections. That was that DB Connect page. So, and remember, that's a PHP page. Then save page.html as page.php. Here it is here. And in the code at the top, you want to include your database connection string using the include command. Test that. If it works, then save it as a template. So file, save as template. Once you've got your template there, then you can go file, new, and then create a new page from your template. And away you go. So that's a lot. Any questions? Just get a hold of me. You can email me through my school account and I should be able to answer questions pretty quickly. Good luck.